Duran Duran Rio, right now on States and Kingdoms.
Duran Duran was recently inducted into the Cleveland
The Baseball
Hall of Fame. Yep, and it's really great for them. And
they've been eligible for quite some time.
I think who was it again? It was like Eminem,
Dolly Parton.
I think
Banana Hammock.
I think Eminem, as he was being inducted, I think he kicked Ian Anderson in the.
I'd like to thank Jethro Tull and XTC for never getting in.
Yeah, just punched him right in the flute. Anyway.
What twig and berries?
A Hall of Fame, but still, it's nice for Duran Duran to be recognized as a solidly awesome band, which they always have been.
Yes.
And they were taken for granted.
Yes.
For a long time.
Which happens to pretty people, I've heard.
So this album, Rio, is regarded by a lot of people as their best album.
Right,
it's really impossible to gainsay that.
It's kind of funny for you to have your second album is your greatest achievement, but you kept going for another 40 years.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, obviously you couldn't do that unless you're actually putting out good songs, if not
I like
perfect
a lot of their other albums anyway. And especially the one after this, Seven and the Ragged Tiger, I think is just as good, I think.
Well, it's good. It's
just as good.
I would say it's still very good. But then, of course, after that, they lost a couple of Taylors.
Right.
They dropped 2 Taylors.
No, when a band has that kind of personnel changes, obviously it's going to change the sound.
Which it did.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they really have a short classic period.
Very short.
It's 3 albums. But they're 3 really good albums.
Yeah, they are.
This being the best one, as we've said already, I think 4 times.
Yeah, although I really like this one.
So side 1 starts with Rio. Extremely famous song. Go.
Well, I mean, this could be one of my very favorite songs of all the songs in the world. And it's just so dynamic and so exciting, and it moves so much, and the tempo, it's upbeat, but the tempo shifts and it just builds and it does all this. It's very complicated song.
What I really like about Duran Duran, especially on this album, is the danciness of the songs are so perfectly
rooted in
it's so perfectly balanced by Simon LeBon singing, which is very kind of a lot of long lines, very melodic,
smooth, not vibrato, and just
altogether that combination is kind of irresistible. And Rio is such a phenomenal song for just its balance, its production, and as a song that's in a way about something that doesn't really matter what it's about. Yeah, it takes you somewhere.
It is. I mean, I don't know if I'm conflating the video and just what I hear.
Well, you could easily,
but I really do
says
get
it in the.
Yeah, you just get this far off
It doesn't take me
Southern
to the ocean,
European kind of.
Or to a river.
No.
I'm just saying it really does.
Yeah, it transports you to something
emotionally. It doesn't actually take you anywhere physically. I'm not saying it's a conveyance of some kind.
It puts me in a boat, and I go somewhere.
It's a taxi.
And then I come back.
Rio is a
fantastic. Ferry. It's just a ferry.
I know. It is one of the all-time classic songs, and
it's amazing. The rhythm section is out of control. The bass line is ridiculous.
They all are. Yeah.
The lead instrument, the horns are integrated perfectly. They don't seem superfluous. They're just in. They really are in there, and
it's a fairly dense mix. But that goes for really the whole album, and it's very successful at being, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, we both remember this
from the very early 90s. We heard this at the roller rink.
Yeah.
Where we hung out.
Yeah. So Duran Duran, I mean, the sort of reverberations from this album were, I mean, they're still ongoing, but I mean, it was still quite strong when we were kids, and things from this album were, played on VH1.
Yeah. Because when we heard this, when we really remember hearing it, often, it's already 10 years old.
And really, nothing sounds like this.
No.
Nothing quite sounds like this. Their unique sound was taken for granted.
Yeah.
Because no matter who their influences were, whether it's Roxy Music or or Chic or David
David
Bowie,
Bowie, yeah.
or whatever they are, they don't sound like any one,
No,
group.
they don't. They don't.
They have their own thing, and Simon LeBon definitely has his own thing.
He's a powerhouse frontman. He's just amazing. So then you go to My Own Way, which is also a really great upbeat song. Something about it reminds me of more like their first album stuff. But
Like the structure of it.
Yeah, maybe the lyrics. I don't know. Something about it just kind of harkens back to a simpler, earlier time.
It definitely lyrically, pretty quickly. This album is different from the first album. Like his lyrics are definitely, they're hard to talk about. I mean, not physically. I'm having perfectly at ease talking.
It's easier if you get on the ferry and then talk about them.
No, but so it sounds stupid to say, but it's like, that there's great ambiguity in the song. So sometimes you don't really know what the songs are really about, but the words really do support the song, and the song supports the emotion of the words, and for any, I'm not going to say it, but for any Deftones fan, that is kind of easily recognizable.
With no Duran Duran, there is no Deftones.
And I was just say, and I could say this for later, but I'll say it right now. I mean, I didn't want to listen to Duran Duran in the 90s. I missed it.
To be honest, I didn't really either.
But they were an 80s group. They had their hair, they used hairspray. I mean, it was.
They didn't need hairspray.
It was a relic.
Their hair just did that. Yeah. It was magic.
No, but they were an early 80s phenomenon.
Yeah.
And, we'd obviously listening to other things, but it was actually Deftones and Korn. It was Gina Moreno and Jonathan Davis talking about Duran Duran that actually made me listen to them more, you could say either uncritically or critically, just,
right.
With a kind of an open mind.
You're like, oh, wait a minute.
And there's I heard a lot in them.
Yeah.
And I could hear, how those two singers, what they got from Simon LeBon.
Well, I mean, of the things that I did listen to, the closest that I would get to being like, oh, they must listen to Duran Duran was maybe a couple of Blur songs. Otherwise...
definitely the bass lines.
Yeah, so... very unique band, and they probably don't get the credit they deserve.
And it has almost nothing to do with this actual song we're talking about, but that's okay. Move on.
Lonely in Your Nightmare.
Yeah, a lot of moody songs on this album, actually, considering how incredibly successful, for such a poppy, boy bandish, second British invasion, blah, blah, blah type group.
And I never thought of them as a boy band, ever.
No, I don't.
They play their instruments. Give me a break. Obviously. They're not like doing choreographed.
No, I mean, I'm going to ignore the insult that you just paid to the Backstreet Boys. Like, it didn't happen.
No, I was talking about NSYNC.
Oh, okay, that's all right then.
Lonely Your Nightmare is a really great song. The rhythm of it, the synthesizer sounds are really well integrated. Everything comes together on all these songs. It's just...
Well, that's sort of the thing,
so good. It's just so good.
It's such a balanced album. I mean, everything is represented. I mean, you have there are songs that have more of a guitar kind of riff
and
opening it.
Yeah, on this, I love the bass, the little kind of, it's almost like a bass solo in the middle, like the break there. It's just like that boom, 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 boom.
No, the bass is always going.
It's so good. I wait for that part. It's so good.
I like the lyrics, and we don't get into...
no, I don't talk
about
lyrics.
Lonely in Your Nightmare is just a very evocative lyric.
Yeah, it really is.
And goes perfectly well along with the music.
Hungry Like the Wolf.
Well.
Everyone knows this song. What can you say? It's never been one of my favorite songs.
On the album. Oh, just altogether.
Of Duran Duran's.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, if I'm making a mixtape of Duran Duran,
no,
I wouldn't put Hungry Like the Wolf on it.
No, you'd put The Chauffeur on. You'd put Electric Barbarella.
I would.
You would. I'm serious.
I would.
Because you're sick.
Everyone likes this song.
Anyway, no, it's a good song. It's Hungry Like a Wolf.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it's a perfect single.
It is.
And it really, it just perfectly embodies to me Simon LeBon's kind of
Animal magnetism.
Well, I mean, you call it what you want. Swagger, confidence. Also, just to mention with this is the U.S. mix.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So the lady howls at the end of the song are very loud on this record.
Yeah.
Hold Back the Rain. Now, I love this song.
Mm-hmm.
This is up there for me. It's so catchy and it just propels itself forward. Like the drum, it does like do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. And it's so exciting. I love this song. And when I saw them just this past August and they played this, I was very happy.
You were surprised?
I was surprised that they would play it live. I don't know why. I mean, but yeah, I was really happy that they played it. It was really great. It was a great moment for me in my life.
It's a great refrain. He really is a great singer.
Yeah.
I always enjoy listening to him sing. Really, it's for me. It's the key feature of Duran Duran for me.
Well, he can do anything. He can
really
sing anything. He has a really versatile voice. It's great range, powerful,
he can
but
belt
tender.
it out.
Yeah.
Without losing that grace.
He can do
that
he can do like an Elvis thing, and he's got
more of a crooner, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't go like full Morrissey or anything, or
never go
say,
full Morrissey.
Never go full Morrissey. No, I mean like full Roxy Music, Brian Ferry.
Yeah,
he doesn't go full Ferry.
Because he doesn't. Full Ferry. Because he has like no vibrato. His voice is just smooth. It's like.
Yeah.
Side 2. New Religion. This song is cool. I always like the overlapping vocals. He sings like a refrain and then he comes in over that and sings.
Yeah.
It's just cool. It's kind of cool. It's like, how many Simons are we hearing?
And I like the production. I know, like we said, this is the U.S. mix, and we've heard the English mix, but not on vinyl.
Right, that's true. Full disclosure.
So from both, I like the production of both. Like I like both mixes basically. I mean, we didn't hear this on the radio, but a lot of the whatever differences, they're negligible.
On MTV.
Yeah, I don't know, but I like the production of this album, and in a lot of ways I shouldn't, but I do. I don't know. It's.
I don't know how. I mean, this just like the sound just like wins you over. It's
it does. When something's done this
pleasant.
well, you just, even if it's not necessarily your thing, I don't know. You just kind of you like it.
Tip your cap.
What I mean by that is the production. And you're saying that had the overlapping. It's a very busy.
Yeah.
Because we were just listening to something else that we're going to talk about and talking about how
not as busy.
We prefer this band when it was just really the 3-piece and it was less. Yeah. There's fewer instruments and there's a lot going on this album, but
Guess
I like it.
Guess who we're talking about? Leave it in the comments.
Anyway.
Last Chance on the Stairway, I also really love.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really exciting song. Dynamic. Lots of movement. Great rhythm. Just a great beat, I know. Just like saying the same shit over and over again. This song also, a lot like Rio, well, like a couple of them, it's got like I don't know if you would call it the middle eight or wherever, like that kind of middle section, there's like a bass solo, kind of like you really, like the bass comes up and plays like the main line. And then in this case, it does that. And then it has like that, it's like xylophone, the like xylophone part.
Is it really xylophone?
It's probably not. But it sounds like it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I love that. And then, it goes back into the main, chorus. This is really, I don't know, I think this is like one of their best exciting songs. A lot like Rio.
On songs like this, his approach to the lyrics on this album, I think is a big reason for its success. I mean, whether you think about the lyrics or not, they affect you. I mean, obviously, and they're highly evocative lyrics. No matter how you interpret them, they add an emotional shade to each song that, if they were songs just about, typical stuff, they really wouldn't be there. I mean, I think Simon LeBon and his words give them an edge that
Well, there's depth.
They don't
there
have
that,
to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Or
Depth.
You could say a depth too.
Yeah.
But I thought about an edge.
I like that too.
Like Jeter.
Yeah.
Jeter has an edge.
And Blazing Copper.
Yeah.
No one knows what we're talking about. Save a Prayer.
Well, yeah.
Most people are familiar with this song. It's probably, what is it, like, yeah, one of the only ballads, really, on this album.
Yeah, it's really, really very good.
It's a very pretty song. He sings it so well.
It doesn't fall into, and this is some people don't. I'll say it because it's the first thing that comes to mind. It doesn't fall into George Michaelness at all.
No.
Which you know what I mean. Like it you wouldn't be surprised if it did, but it keeps its kind of complexity, and
Well, because instrumentally, it's a little bit pared down. There's a little bit more space and it's a little quieter and, everything that you hear is very, focused and has a real purpose. And yeah, it's just really well done. This song also is, these aren't easy to sing.
No.
Like these, try singing along to
really
Save
not.
a Prayer. Like it is not an easy song to sing.
No.
He just makes it sound so easy. He really, truly does. And then speaking of Chino, the chauffeur, which seems to be everyone's favorite Duran Duran song.
Well,
as far as 90s rock musicians who are influenced by Duran Duran.
Yeah, they all really love the song.
I can see why. Very interesting.
I could see why. Again, it's very moody, atmospheric.
It's different. It's really
the beat,
different.
There's a lot of kind of disco-ish beat on this, as there was for a lot of bands at the time. This one, not the whole album, but this one doesn't have that. It's almost
very spare.
Yeah, it's like more, you said, I think, a more open beat. It almost sounds kind of like trip hoppy.
Yeah.
Which did not exist, of
You're
course.
not even quite sure if it's really irregular or if it's
like canish.
Yeah.
Like a can beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, very kind of, it takes its time and it's got a cool groove. It is an awesome song.
And it's really vocally led. Like,
Yeah.
the vocal melody is it's the prime thing you think about with this song.
This album is really special, and it's actually rather hard to talk about. The first album is very good, but this album, their goodness escalated so quickly.
Yeah, it's surprising.
The Beatles thing, I know it's not that I didn't understand why they would be compared to the Beatles. Of course they would be, but there's almost an actual comparison because the gap from Please Please Me to With the Beatles, With the Beatles is like, here they are.
Right.
And this is similar. They are
fully formed Duran Duran.
Awesome on this album. And although the Hall of Fame doesn't really mean anything, they deserve to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Along with
everyone
like
else.
500 other bands that will never get in. Duran Duran this album is fantastic. You shouldn't be taking it for granted. It should really be enjoyed, and it's special. It's wonderful.
Enjoyed and celebrated.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching our discussion of Rio. Please let us know what you think of this album in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe. And please stay tuned for more videos here at States and Kingdoms every Wednesday and Friday. And we'll see you next time.